I want to start by telling you something that goes against almost everything you have been told about getting a child to listen. Are you ready? Here it is. Your grandchild is not ignoring you because they are stubborn. They are not ignoring you because they are spoiled, or because their parents have gone soft, or because this generation has no respect. Your grandchild is not listening to you because their brain, at this very moment, is physically unable to do what you are asking it to do. And every single time you raise your voice, you are making it harder, not easier, for them to obey you. I know, that sounds backwards. You raise children of your own. Maybe you raised them with a firm hand, and they turned out just fine. So how can yelling be the problem? Stay with me, because by the time we are done today, you are going to understand exactly what is happening inside that little head. When you call their name 3 times and they keep playing, as if you are not even in the room, and I'm going to give you something to do instead. Something so simple you will wonder why nobody told you sooner. But I am going to make you wait just a little bit for that, because if I give it to you now, you will not understand why it works. And a tool you do not understand is a tool you will stop using the moment it gets hard. Let me tell you who I am, so you know I'm not just making this up. I spent more than 30 years working with families. I hold a doctorate in psychology. I have sat across from grandmothers in tears because they felt their own grandchildren did not respect them. I have watched grandfathers slam doors because a 6-year-old would not put on his shoes. And in all those years, I learned one thing that changed everything for the people I worked with. The yelling was never the solution. The yelling was the confession that the adult had run out of better ideas. And you're not out of better ideas. You just have not been given them yet. Today, I am giving them to you. So let us start with the brain, because everything comes back to the brain. When you ask a young child to do something, you are sending a request to a part of the brain that is still under construction. The part that handles self-control, planning, and stopping one activity to start another is called the prefrontal cortex. In a child, this part is nowhere near finished. Researchers who study brain development have found that this region does not fully mature until a person is around 25 years old. 25. That means the child in front of you, the one who will not stop watching the screen, when you call them for dinner, is working with maybe a fraction of the wiring you have. They are not refusing. They are loading. And when you yell, you do something terrible without meaning to. You flood that unfinished brain with stress chemicals that shut down the very part you're trying to reach. Here is how that works. And I want you to really understand this, because it is the heart of everything. Deep in the brain, there is a small structure called the amygdala. Think of it as the alarm system. Its only job is to scan for danger and react fast. When you raise your voice, when your face hardens, when your body gets big and loud, that alarm goes off. The child's brain does not stop to think, oh, this is just grandma being firm. The alarm reads it as a threat, and the moment the alarm fires, blood and energy rush away from the thinking part of the brain and into the survival part. The child goes into what we call fight, flight, or freeze. Some children fight, and you call them defiant. Some children flee, and you call them avoidant. And some children freeze, and you stand there yelling louder, thinking they are ignoring you, when the truth is they have gone completely offline. They literally cannot process your words anymore. You have shouted them right out of the part of the brain that could have obeyed you. Now I want to slow down right here and explain what is really going on with those stress chemicals. Because once you see this, you will never look at a yelling match the same way again. When that alarm fires, the body releases a chemical called cortisol and another one called adrenaline. These are the same chemicals that would flood your body if a bear walked into the room. They are survival chemicals. They were never designed for a kitchen at dinner time. They were designed to help a body run from something that wants to eat it. So when you raise your voice and these chemicals pour into that small body, the child is now physically prepared to run or fight, not to listen, not to think, not to put on their shoes. Their heart speeds up, their muscles tense, their hearing actually narrows so that they hear less of your words, not more. This is why when you yell louder, the listening gets worse instead of better. You're not breaking through, you're pushing them deeper into survival, and survival has no room for cooperation. A body braced for a bear cannot tie a shoelace. And here is something most people never realize. Those chemicals do not leave the body the moment you stop yelling. They linger. After a real shouting match, it can take a child's body a long time, sometimes the better part of an hour, to fully clear that flood and come back to calm. So if you yell at breakfast and then wonder why the child is difficult all morning, why they cannot focus, why everything makes them cry, you are not seeing a bad child. You are seeing a body that is still swimming in stress chemicals from an hour ago. The storm passed for you. It has not passed for them. This is one of the saddest misunderstandings I see in homes, because the grandparent thinks the child is holding a grudge or being dramatic, when really the child is simply still recovering from the alarm you both set off together. Let that sit for a second. Every time the listening gets worse after you raise your voice, that is not your grandchild being bad. That is biology doing exactly what biology does. You are not failing because you are weak. You are failing because you're using a tool that the brain is designed to resist. And I promise you there is a better tool. I'm going to hand it to you very soon. But first I need you to see two more things, because they are the reasons the better tool works so well. But before I get to those two things, I want to deal with the voice in your head right now, because I can almost hear it. You are thinking, but I was raised this way, and I turned out fine. My parents yelled, my grandparents yelled, and I learned respect. And I want to honor that, because it is true that you survived it, and it is true that you became a good person. But I want you to ask yourself a harder question. Did you learn respect, or did you learn fear? Because those two things look exactly the same from the outside, and they are completely different on the inside. A child who fears you will obey while you're watching, and do as they please the moment you turn your back. A child who respects you will carry your voice inside them for the rest of their life, even when you are long gone. The yelling can buy you the first one. Only connection can buy you the second. And I think if you're honest, the second one is the one you actually want. You do not want a grandchild who simply complies. You want a grandchild who loves you, who trusts you, who comes to you. That child is not built through fear. That child is built through safety. There is one more thing I want to say about that old way, because I do not want you to carry guilt out of this video. The generations before us did not yell because they were cruel. They yelled because it was the only tool anyone handed them. Nobody sat them down and explained the amygdala. Nobody told them about cortisol. They did the best they could with what they knew. And what they knew was raise your voice and demand obedience. We are the first generations in history who get to know better, because the science is finally clear and finally in plain reach of ordinary people like you and me. So this is not about blaming anyone who came before. It is about being the one in your family line who finally has the better information and choosing to use it. You can be the turning point, the grandparent whose example changes how the whole family speaks to its children for generations to come. That is not a small thing. That is a legacy. So now you understand the storm itself, the alarm, the chemicals, the long, slow recovery, the difference between fear and respect. Now let me show you the two things that make the better way work, because they are the foundation underneath everything I'm about to hand you. The first thing is this. A child does most of their learning about how to behave, not from what you say, but from what you do. We have known this for a long time. Back in the early 1960s, a psychologist named Albert Bandura ran a famous experiment. He let children watch adults behave a certain way, and then he watched what the children did afterward. The children copied the adults almost exactly. When the adults were calm, the children were calmer. When the adults were aggressive, the children were aggressive. The lesson was simple, and it has held up for more than 60 years. Children become what they see. So when you yell at a child to stop yelling, when you lose control to teach control, you're not teaching the lesson you think you are teaching. You're teaching the opposite. You are showing them, in the clearest way possible, that the way a big person gets what they want is to get loud and scary. And then we wonder why they get loud and scary right back. I want you to do something for me right now. Down in the comments, I want you to tell me honestly. Have you ever caught your grandchild copying the exact tone you used on them and felt that little sting of recognition? Just type yes if you have. I think you will be surprised how many other people are typing the same thing. You are not alone in this, not even close. The second thing you need to see is about connection, and this is the one that most people get completely wrong. We have been raised to believe that a child listens because they fear the consequences. That respect is built on a little bit of fear, but the research on this points the other way. Children obey willingly and over the long run, the adults they feel safely attached to. There is a whole field of study called attachment, started by researchers like John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth. And what they found again and again is that a child who feels secure, who feels that their big person is a safe base, is far more likely to cooperate than a child who feels afraid. Fear gets you obedience for about 10 seconds. Connection gets you a child who actually wants to please you. And here is the part that should give you hope. You, the grandparent, are in the single best position of anyone to give that child connection, because you are not the one rushing them off to school. You are not the one stressed about the bills. You are the one with the time and the patience and the love. You have an advantage the parents do not have. We are going to use it. So now you understand the problem. The brain is unfinished. Yelling trips the alarm and shuts down listening. Children copy what we do, not what we say, and real cooperation grows out of connection, not fear. Now, finally, let me start handing you the things to do instead, and I'm going to give you several, because no single trick works on every child every time. But there is one that I would call the master move, the one I promised you at the start, and I am going to save it for last on purpose, because it is the strongest, and I want you to have everything else in place when you use it. Let us begin with the simplest one. Get down to their level. I mean this literally. Before you say a single word, lower your body so your eyes are at the same height as theirs. Kneel, crouch, sit on the floor if you have to. When you tower over a small child and your voice comes raining down from above, their alarm system reads height and volume as threat, even when you are calm. But when you come down to their level, you turn the whole thing off. You become safe. You become a partner instead of a wall. I have watched this single change transform a screaming standoff into a quiet conversation in under a minute. Get low, soften your face, then speak. You will not believe the difference until you try it. The second thing is to get their attention before you give your instruction, not at the same time. This is where almost everyone goes wrong. You call out an instruction across the room while the child is deep in something, and then you get angry when it does not land. But remember the unfinished brain. A young child cannot easily pull their attention off one thing and stick it onto another, just because a voice told them to. So you build a bridge first. You go to them, you get low, you gently touch their shoulder, or you wait for their eyes. You might even say their name softly and wait for them to look at you. Only when you have their attention, when the bridge is built, do you give the instruction. One instruction, short, clear. Not a lecture, not 5 things at once. One thing. Their brain can hold one thing. Give it 5, and it holds none. And while we are here, let me tell you how to phrase that one thing, because the words matter more than you think. Tell the child what to do, not what to stop doing. The young brain struggles to process a negative command. When you say do not run, the brain has to first picture running, then try to cancel it, and in that gap the running continues. But when you say please walk, you have handed the brain a clear, single picture to copy. So instead of stop yelling, you say let us use our quiet voice. Instead of do not throw that, you say put it down gently. Instead of stop making a mess, you say food stays on the plate. Do you see the difference? You are not fighting their brain anymore. You're working with it. You're giving it something it can actually do. Now I want to give you one for the moments when the child is already upset. Because here is the hard truth. When a child is in the middle of a meltdown, when that alarm is screaming and the thinking brain is offline, no instruction in the world is going to reach them. You cannot reason with a brain that has gone into survival mode. So you do not even try. Instead, you name the feeling. You say, "You are so frustrated right now. You really wanted to keep playing." This is called naming to tame, and there is real science behind it. When you put a calm word on a big feeling, you actually help move the child's brain activity out of that screaming alarm and back toward the thinking part. You are not agreeing that the tantrum is okay. You are not giving in. You are simply being the calm outside voice that helps their inside storm settle. And only once that storm has passed, only once you see their shoulders drop and their breathing slow, do you go back to the instruction? Connection first, correction second. Always in that order, never the other way around. I want to pause here and ask you something, because I'm curious where you're listening from. Down in the comments, tell me your town, your city, your country, wherever you are in the world. I love seeing how far this message travels, and I want you to know that the grandparent 2,000 miles away is fighting the very same battle you are tonight. Type where you are. Let us see how big this family really is. Let me give you another tool, and this one is about offering choices. Remember that a young child is desperate for some control over their own life because they have almost none. Adults decide when they wake, what they wear, what they eat when they leave. So they push back, not because they are bad, but because pushing back is the only power they feel they have. You can hand them that power in a way that still gets you exactly what you want. You do it by offering two choices, both of which you are happy with. Do you want to put your shoes on yourself? Or do you want me to help you? Do you want to brush your teeth before the story or after? Either way, the shoes go on. Either way, the teeth get brushed. But now the child feels like they chose, like they had a say, and a child who feels they had a say will cooperate 10 times over compared to a child who feels ordered around. You are not losing authority, you are being smart with it. Here is one more before I give you the master move, and this one is about catching them being good. We are trained to notice the behavior we do not want. The child sits quietly for 20 minutes and we say nothing, and then they make one loud noise and we pounce. But a child will move toward whatever gets your attention. If the only time they get your full focus is when they misbehave, then misbehaving is exactly what they will do. Because to a child, even angry attention is better than no attention at all. So flip it. Catch them in the act of behaving well. When they speak gently, you notice out loud. I love how kind your voice was just then. When they wait patiently, you notice. You waited so calmly. Thank you. You are pouring your attention on the behavior you want more of, and like water on a plant, that behavior grows. This is not bribery. You are not handing out candy. You are simply pointing your light at the right thing, and children grow toward the light. Now, the master move. The one I promised you at the very start. I have made you wait for it, and here is why it is worth the wait. Everything I have told you so far works in the moment. But this last one changes the entire relationship, so that the moments of conflict get fewer and fewer all on their own. And it is so simple that you are going to doubt it. Here it is. Spend 10 minutes a day giving that child your complete, undivided, delighted attention, where they are in charge and you simply follow. That is it. 10 minutes. But I have to be specific about what these 10 minutes look like, or it will not work. During these 10 minutes, you put the phone away. Out of sight. You do not teach. You do not correct. You do not ask a single question that is really a quiz. You do not say, "What color is that? What letter is this?" Number. You get down on the floor and you let the child lead. Whatever they want to play, you play. However they want to play it. Even the wrong way. Even the boring way. You follow. If they want to stack the blocks and knock them down 40 times, you stack and you knock with genuine joy. Your only job is to be warm, present, and delighted to be exactly where you are. You narrate what you see. You are putting the red one on top. You can almost hear the happiness in your own voice. And you watch what happens to this child over the next 2 weeks, because here's what is happening underneath. Every one of those 10-minute sessions is a deposit into the child's sense of safety and connection. You are filling their tank. And a child whose tank is full of connection does not have to fight you for attention through bad behavior, because they are already getting your attention in the best possible way. The defiance you have been struggling with is very often a thirsty child trying to get a drink the only way they know how. You give them the drink before they are thirsty every single day, and the desperate behavior simply has less reason to appear. I have seen this one practice, 10 minutes a day, do more than years of discipline. It is the closest thing to magic I know, and there is nothing magic about it at all. It is just connection, given freely before it is demanded. Now let me put this all together for you, simply so you can carry it out the door and use it tonight. When your grandchild is not listening, do not raise your voice, because raising your voice trips the alarm in their brain and shuts down the very listening you want. Instead, first get down to their level so your body says safe instead of threat. Second, build a bridge to their attention before you give the instruction. Touch the shoulder, Wait for the eyes. Say the name softly. Third, give one short instruction and phrase it as what to do, not what to stop. Walk, please. Quiet voice, please. Food on the plate. Fourth, if they are already upset, do not instruct at all. Name the feeling first. Let the storm pass, and only then return to the request. Fifth, when you can, offer two choices you are both happy with so the child feels the control they crave. Sixth, catch them being good and pour your attention there. And seventh, the foundation under all of it. Give that child 10 minutes a day of pure, led by them, delighted attention, and watch the conflict shrink on its own. I want to say one more thing to you before we finish, and I want you to hear it as the truth it is. If you have been yelling, you have not ruined anything. You have not damaged your grandchild. You did the best you could with the tools you were given, and the tools you were given were the same tools handed down for generations. The raise your voice, the firm hand, the do it because I said so. There is no shame in having used them. The only thing that would be a shame is to keep using them now that you know there is something better. Children are astonishingly forgiving. The very first time you get down to their level instead of standing over them, the very first time you name their feeling instead of shouting it down, they feel the change, and they will come toward you. They always come toward the safety. That is what they are built to do. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Tonight or tomorrow, the very next time it happens, I want you to try just one thing from this video. Just one. Get low or name the feeling or give the 10 minutes. Pick the one that feels easiest and do it once. Then come back here and tell me in the comments what happened. I read these and I promise you I will be looking for your story. Tell me which one you tried and how your grandchild responded. And if this helped you even a little, if it made you see that little face differently, share it with another grandparent who needs it tonight, because there is a grandmother somewhere right now, on the edge of tears, about to raise her voice again, who does not know there is another way. You can be the one who tells her. You are not too old to change how you do this. You are exactly the right person, with exactly the right heart, at exactly the right time. Go be the safe place.